Now, the Examination Council of Zambia has hosted the 38th annual conference of the Association for Education Assessment in Africa. The theme of the conference is Education Assessment for Developing 21st Century Skills. The conference attracted a total of 365 delegates from 27 countries. The Minister in charge of Education in Zambia, Douglas C. Kalima, represented the country's President Hakainde Hichilema as the guest of honor. The minister underscored the fact that the New Dawn government, under the leadership of Hakainde Hichilema, will ensure quality education and promote learning opportunities for all. Now, joining us live tonight on NC Continental Prime to discuss this and more is the AEAA Executive Secretary, Dr. Michael Chilala. Good evening to you, Dr. Chilala.
Good evening, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Now, Dr. Chilala, Africa will be interested in knowing the policies you've implemented. Can you tell us a bit about them?
As an association for educational assessment in Africa, we normally host annual conferences of the association at which the various innovations and developments in the countries that have member institutions are shared. And in the recent past, you are aware that due to COVID-19, we've not been having gatherings of such a nature. And also, education systems and assessment systems have been affected to the extent that some of the countries have had to postpone examinations in 2020 and 2021. And they are just catching up now owing to the opening up of the world. And so this conference was the first after the pandemic. And the idea of the conference and the theme of the conference was mainly about developing, educational assessment for developing 21st century skills. We're basically looking at the extent to which examining boards have been able to adapt to remain afloat and relevant during these difficult times when it was not possible to meet physically. And also we're looking at the extent to which our assessment systems have remained relevant in the sense of assessing 21st century skills such as innovativeness, creativity, communication, critical thinking, which are not necessarily taught in our curricula. And the idea is that we were trying to share information as to what extent our education and the examination systems have remained relevant in the current day demand. And we observed from the conference that a lot of countries have moved to review curricula to include the 21st century skills. And we have also observed that a lot of assessment systems have been revised, and they are also updating their systems to remain afloat and be able to assess the 21st century skills. And most importantly, we have also seen that there have been innovations that are mainly reliant on digital platforms to ensure that we are able to conduct business despite the restrictions of gatherings caused by COVID-19.
Okay. Now, Dr.
In sharing information about this, all the policies that the countries have been developing are trying to back up these developments.
Now, Dr. Chilala, I understand the New Dawn government of President Hakainde Hichilema has been in office for less than 18 months. But how would you rate the development of education in Zambia under his government?
I will write on the speech that was given by the Honorable Minister representing His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema in responding to that question. And we have all seen and heard that the government of the Republic of Zambia has moved huge to try and improve quality. First of all, they looked at the high teacher ratios and decided to recruit 30,496 teachers within the period of 12 months, their first 12 months. This, according to the speech of the minister, and which is a reality, reflects their commitment in reducing the pupil-teacher ratios and ensuring that quality is maintained. And in the process, we will have more people to also work with as the examining board in terms of teaching, marking, and assessing the learners. And they also have moved to review the policy of the Ministry of Education in order to realign the education and assessment systems to global trends. And one of the things they intend to do is to introduce advanced level examination systems as the direct entrance requirement into university education. This has not been the case in Zambia. Those who have followed the history of the Zambian education system may be aware that at independence, we had very few graduates, and therefore there was a negotiated process with the British that using all levels, you could be enrolled into university education, and the university education would take a minimum of 4 years, with first year catering for A levels, which were not certified. At this time around, they are making it a policy that we reduce the minimum degree requirements in university in terms of period to 3 years. And then we also realign our O levels so that the O levels feed into the advanced levels, which will lead into candidates being enrolled in direct discipline. So they have also improved on the inspection, they have improved on infrastructure, they have moved to provide appropriate teaching and learning environment. And most importantly, they have also moved through the Directorate of Open and Distance Learning
so,
to
Dr.
provide
Chilala,
digital platforms for teaching
from the
and
little
learning.
things you've said, it seems a lot of progress has been made, positive progress in Zambia, especially in the Zambian educational system. Now, the theme of the conference was education assessment for developing 21st century skills. From your knowledge of what happened and this new government and its efforts towards developing education in Zambia, how close would you say Zambia is in attaining these goals? Or would you say Zambia is moving towards the right direction in attaining these goals of developing 21st century skills?
I think certainly, without necessarily being political in my comments, I can indicate that we've seen the country move in the right direction. Because the first thing that helps improve quality is a lower pupil-teacher ratio. And the second thing is teachers developing appropriate capacities. And the ministry is working very hard to ensure that the capacities of the teachers are appropriate and up to the current demands of teaching and learning. The third thing is the improvement of the teaching and learning environment, and also the introduction of ICTs, reliance on ICTs to ensure that learners continue to learn despite the challenges they face. And the government is moving very fast to ensure that they work through the Smart Zambia initiative to provide such kind of an environment. So I can safely say that I think the government is moving in the right direction. In terms of the teaching and learning environment, they are also trying to provide resources such as desks to make sure that there are no children that sit on the floor. We've seen an increase from the time they introduced free education, because in public schools now, learners can go without paying any fees. We've seen an increase in number of learners, and therefore the classes are crowded. And this was even attested to by the Honorable Minister. But we've seen their interest in ensuring that infrastructure is expanded to accommodate such children. So we are bringing in more people into school, and we are trying to provide a conducive learning environment, which is quite a positive development, I should say.
Definitely. I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Dr. Michael Chilala, a step in the right direction from the government of the Zambia. Thank you very much for talking to us on NC Continental Prime.
I'm grateful, and thanks to the viewers.